Class example 1.14 will give us some equations and ask us to determine the horizontal and vertical translations described within them. Let's start with part A. We're given y equals f of x. We have no idea what kind of function this is, but the transform version will be y equals f of x plus 7 minus 1. Can you describe the transformations and then write the mapping rule? Recall that x plus 7 means we move 7 units left, and then the minus 1 means we moved 1 unit down. Our mapping rule will correspond directly to this description and will be x, y maps to x minus 7, y minus 1. In part B, we are given a known function of y equals x squared. The transform version is y equals x minus 6 squared plus 4. Because we see a binomial of x minus 6, we can say that we move 6 units to the right, and the plus 4 means 4 units up. Our mapping rule will correspond to this description. xy becomes x plus 6, y plus 4. Now, can you determine the range of the transformed function? As a hint, think about the range of the original function, y equals x squared. Can you visualize that? If you know that range, please know that a horizontal translation will never affect the range. So you only have to consider how the vertical translation of 4 units up affects that initial range. Because a parabola has its vertex or lowest point at 0, 0, the range would typically be all values of y greater than or equal to 0. If we move that up 4, we can write that as y greater than or equal to 4, or in interval notation as being from 4 inclusive up to positive infinity. Our last example shows the first form written f of x equals square root of x plus 2. So we know what type of function we're dealing with. But in the second form, the transformed version, it writes it in terms of f of x. This makes it easy to identify our transformations. Here we've gone 4 units right and 1 unit up. So our mapping rule will be that xy maps to x plus 4 and y plus 1. Be careful when we're determining the domain of this function. Unlike example B, where we started with the base form, here we have not started simply with square root of x, but rather with the square root of x plus 2. So you'll need to consider what its domain is before you apply the transformations to that. Because our original graph had a domain of all values greater than negative 2, 4 right of that would be all values greater than or equal to positive 2. I'll now leave you to work through the practice problems. Practice problems are the best way to test your understanding of concepts. Take your time, be patient, and congratulate yourself when things go well. I'll see you in the next chapter.